Hey y'all, welcome back to Mirror Expressions. If it's your first time, hey, we're happy to have you here. Why don't you take a moment to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you have not already done so. And while you're at it, also take a minute to drop a mirror emoji down in the chat along with the words, hey, hi, what's up, how you doing, or something. That just kind of lets me know that you as my Facebook, as my YouTube family, that you are doing A-okay. And that's what I want to know. If you're doing good or not, because I'm here to let y'all know I'm doing good. And if you are not, as always, I encourage you all to do what you must. Now, this is so serious. To do what you must to get back to a healthier you. We want you out here living your healthiest life, right? Right. All right, y'all. Let's go and get into it. Let's get into it, 'cause baby, you're supposed to got some notes today. Alright, y'all. We finna hit Married at First Sight. We're season 15. We are 12 episodes in, and this one is called Baby Steps. We are 18 days until decision day, and Pastor Cal says that they will be digging into trust and intimacy this episode, right? So Mitch is FaceTime his friend Shayna, and he's seeking advice from her regarding how to get things back on track with Kristen. With his and Kristen's sexual intimacy, physical intimacy, right? So apparently he was joking around, which I think he does that just out of nervousness, because who does that when you're in the throes of passion? Like seriously, that's the quickest way to turn somebody out. So anyway, so he claims that he does not remember what he said. And I call him BS, because how do you not remember what you said, but you definitely remember how you felt? So now you remember everything about this situation. Like, you remember what you said, you remember what she said to you, and you remember how they made you feel. So I call BS, but and then he kept saying, I don't remember what I said, or I was like, how many times you gonna say that? They let me know you lying. So anyway, he telling her he don't remember what he said, but she called him out on whatever he was that he said, and now he's left feeling insecure. Truth be told, I feel like he was insecure before all of that anyway. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So Dr. P is visiting the couples. Right now she's with Stasha and Nate, and they want to navigate why Stasha is having such a hard time trusting Nate. So Stasha thinks she thinks about things in black and white. So if she says so. If she cannot fact check it, then she can't fully trust it. So she's a black and white thinker. And sometimes it's good to think that way, but not all the time, because not everything is black and white. Some things, they're just going to be gray areas, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's about all I can say, because I can keep going on and on about trusting and how, trust can't not be a black and white thing. Like, as far as you being able to fact check, you're not going to be able to fact check everything. Some things concrete, yes, but everything, like if someone is expressing to you how they feel, you can't go back and fact check. But like, if you done got all your degrees to be an RN, that could be, or taking all your classes to become an RN, that can be fact checked. So not everything can be fact checked. So she's going to have to let go of that and just allow some room for gray areas. But anyway, again, that's just my opinion. So Dr. Pia asked her, does she connect trust with control? And she said that maybe she does do that. So Dr. Pia gives them an assignment where Stasha has to fully rely on Nate, right? And she leaves them a basket of goodies. So yeah, I already know what the goodies are. It's all things geared towards intimacy, like some handcuffs. It was some little fairy handcuffs Stasha pulled down. So all that kind of stuff. So Stasha says that she will take baby steps to relinquishing control. All right. Justin and Alexis over to their apartment. They're having a discussion about Alexis going out every weekend with her friends and to the club at that. So I'm with y'all the Green Giant on this. I gotta say, I said, girl, you are married and you have to move a little differently. You can't keep moving how you were moving when you were single. And this is, to me, is one of the areas where you have to learn how to move a little differently. You can't be out in the club every weekend with your girls. You know what I'm saying? So, girl, bye. It probably, this is another thing. It is only for 2 hours. Girl, it probably took you 2 hours just to get ready. Especially with all that makeup you be putting on your face, girl. Bye. I'm just saying. Like, y'all know her makeup be too much sometimes. And I'm saying sometimes, because I ain't going to say all the time. Sometimes, sometimes it be too much. Like in this particular scene, she looking kind of orange in the face, if you ask me. She looking straight up like a little Oompa Loompa. She giving me Oompa Loompa vibes. She a little orange. Just a tint. But anyway, okay, I'm digressing. I'm getting off. Let me go. So we ain't here all day. But anyway. So Dr. Pia, she shows up and she's just like, she could hear them outside before she even got to the door. So she's like, what's up? What were y'all talking about? So they're filling Dr. Pia in on what they were discussing. And Dr. Pia asks, well, why does Alexis feel she needs to go out? Or why does she feel like, or why does she desire to have or spend so much time with her friends, or spend it that often with her friends, right? And so she said because it's a lot to go from being single and independent to being with someone 24/7, basically. So Justin's about to cry. Well, why did you go through this process? As much as he's about to cry, that to me was still a valid response, because why did you? If you were not ready to give up this single independent life, and I get that it's a staunch change, like that is a big change, but if you weren't willing to go ahead and make those adjustments, well, why did you? Because you knew it wasn't like a slow thing. You knew you were going to go from being single one day to literally being married the next. You know what I'm saying? So anyway. So as she explains why she wants to get married, and then tries to justify her actions by references his vows, where he said he wants her to be free and do the things that she enjoys. Hence why she says she goes out, because that's her thing. She enjoys it, and she doesn't want to be smothered. Otherwise, she's not going to feel free. So she goes on to tell him that if that's a deal breaker for him, then oh well, she's not going to change. Alexis, she's self-sabotaging. And she's doing it purposefully. Like she's looking for an out. That's how I feel. She's looking for an out. Like any and everything she's kind of grasping onto. And yeah. So Dr. Pia asks her if she feels like she's ready to be married. And she says yes. So she asks her if she feels like she's ready to be married to Justin. And she said, I don't think so. Yeah. Ooh. That had to have stung. So Justin said he wants the marriage, but he doesn't want to be an option. He knows his worth. Now, insert. The one thing I did not like about their communication style was how she called him out on every time he tried to interject while she was talking. Yet she had no problems cutting in when he was talking. I didn't think that was right. That was kind of a double standard now, Alexis. Now, you need to give him the same respect that you're demanding from him. That's all I got to say about that. Anyway, she says that she's trying. She brings up the Newton and the Maya incident, right? So Dr. Pia points out that, well, Justin has made sacrifices as well, i.e., Maya is no longer there. Facts. So Dr. Pia asks Messy Lex, well, why does she feel that she and Justin have not had sex yet? And she gives this PC therapist formulated reply, basically saying that she doesn't want to talk about things and that she's over this whole conversation. This conversation is very inconducive to my mental health and it's overbearing, and I'm not a fan of it. Basically, that's what she said. It's inconducive to her mental health. So Dr. P was just like, okay, let's explore this mental health thing, right? So Alexis says she feels alone, unheard, and dismissed, and not by just Justin, but also by Dr. P. So there was, and then she says that there was no resolve to the whole going out issue before they just dove right into their physical intimacy. And so she says, so they'll go to bed, they will go to bed mad because things have not been resolved. And well, baby, why did little Justin pipe his little booty up? He said, no, they're not going to go to bed mad because they haven't resolved things. They're going to go to bed mad because she says she doesn't want to be married to him. I said, oh, touche, Justin, touche. Baby, I had to give it to Justin. Now, we all know he's a little crybaby. He's a little crybaby. But I think we started to see another side of him. Like, he ain't been doing as much crying. And he's kind of trying to speak his speech, as Miss Misha would say. Go check her out, Miss Misha IMO, okay? But yeah, he kind of starting to get a little backbone. I think if he had showed more of a backbone early on, now I'm kind of just gassing, taking a stab in the dark. I think maybe Lexus would have been more attracted to that versus him being as soft as he was, like crying over any and everything, like stuff that don't even have to do with him, like Morgan and Ben's relationship. You know, that's just my thing. Like, I'm not saying be disrespectful. No, definitely not. Because that's also the quickest way to just like, no, but showing that you have a little backbone, like, that's a little different. So he kind of speaking up for himself. So she ends up apologizing. No feelings behind that apology at all. But she does say that she's sorry that she hurt his feelings. So he ends up taking his red wedding ring off, right, in an attempt to hurt her feelings back. And Dr. Pia pointed that out. So this tit for tat, they're going tit for tat. And as Quad from Married to Medicine would say, you can't go tit for tat because, baby, that's the quickest way to end a marriage. So Alexis, she says she's going to continue to try. And Justice says that, well, actions speak louder than words. I think at this point, Alexis is checked out. And I feel like Justin knows it. Now, 17 days until decision day. And Lindy and Miguel, they get one of these little lifelike babies to take care of. The ones that kind of, it cries and you have to figure out if it's hungry, if it's wet, if it needs cuddling. One of those things. You can't just turn it off. It ain't that easy. Like, it's like controlled by something else. Like, you see a lot of them sometimes I think in like home ec classes in high school or something like that. I don't know if they even still do those classes, but if they do, that's kind of like where I've seen those classes or whatever those little babies use. So anyway, so they got it. Yeah, why they named that baby McGindy? What in the hell? McGindy? They could at least say Mindy or Linguel or something. McGindy, that's the baby name, McGindy. So they also get this little Jenga game, this Jenga like game, I guess. They couldn't use the brand name Jenga, I'm sure. But anyway, because it has the married to medicine, married at first sight logo on it. But anyway, each of the blocks have like a question or something they need to do on it. And so as they take out that particular block, they have to read it and either do it or answer it, right? Well, nothing much to see there. So, but I will say the experts, they say they gave them, well, I think it was Dr. Powell. Well, I can't talk tonight, y'all. I think I'm just tired. It's about 2 in the morning. But anyway, I think Dr. Cal was saying that they gave them the baby to kind of challenge them more, and for them to kind of dig deeper, and that they haven't had any real tough disagreements, and they really need to see that and how they're going to kind of work through those things. So Dr. Pia, she's now with Kristen and Mitch, and Dr. Pia, she plays this game with them. So they have to pull a card and answer the question, right? So first question was, who was your childhood hero? And so Mitch answered, and he mentioned like some kind of superhero. And they also had to say who and why. So he mentioned a superhero, and then Kristen mentioned her mom and gave like why. So Mitch questions her, did she feel that way about her mom as a child? Or, is it just now? Because he's just like, the question said, who is your childhood hero? Well, baby, it looks Cookie. And I mean, I get where he was coming from with the question. Because it did sound like she was talking very present tense. And also, you know how children can think, especially growing up, like, especially in them teenage years, your parents don't always be your best friends. But, baby, Kristen's frustration was shown all over her face. All over. So she paused, and she finally answered. She's just like, yes. Like, yes. So Dr. Pia asked Kristen, what was that about? And Kristen said she didn't like being challenged. She said, they just really bother her. So Mitch said he asked that because a lot of the things and the reasons why she gave were present day things. And it did come across that way. So like I said, I can get why he just kind of asked that. I don't feel like he was being an asshole in this moment. I don't think he asked her that to challenge her. I think he asked her that for clarification. Now, we all know Mitch can be a bitch, but in this moment, I really do think he was not trying to be. You know what I'm saying? I think he was just trying to ask for clarification, because if that wasn't what, she meant, he was wanting her to dig a little deeper then maybe. So I'm going to give him that one. So anyway, Kristen, she gets teary-eyed, and I don't think he was being an asshole. Like I said, I think, well, at least in this particular moment, because we know he can be, I think she just wants him to support her, just support her in the things she say, and the things she does, and the things she wants to do. And like, she's missing this. So at this point, it's just like any little thing is just kind of just taking things over the top for her, like, because she's already frustrated. She's already in a point of frustration, right? So anything else is just compounding that situation at this point. And so he apologizes, and their sex life ends up coming up. So we learn that they haven't been sexually intimate for a few weeks now. Again, he said he doesn't remember what he said or did. And I'm just like, dude, you know exactly what you said. So Dr. Pia asked Kristen, well, what was it? And she says that out of respect for Mitch, she won't mention it unless he's okay with her doing so. And baby, he said real quick, I would like not. I would appreciate it if you did. So then let me know right then and there, Mitch. You know exactly what you said. Oh, oh. So Krista mentioned that how in the previous week she really felt emotionally connected with him, and that if she had more of that, she feels like their sexual intimacy will follow and get back on track. So over with Lindy and Miguel. Baby, Miguel is not playing around with this baby. You would think it was a real live living and breathing being, baby. He rocking that thing so gently, and we see who will be the nurturer in this dynamic. Either that, or he's just getting the kick out of this make-believe, because y'all know he's into this whole fantasy world and stuff. So it's one of the two. It's one of the two, or maybe a little bit of both. But anyways, the baby starts crying, and they try everything to get it to stop. And they finally figure out the baby was hungry. So when Lindy is feeding the baby the bottle, the baby is simulating like gulping sounds, and Lindy's freaking out. That's weird. It sounds like it's glitching. Miguel has hear her. That's the baby drinking. That's the sound of the baby drinking. I said, oh my goodness. That Lindy, honey. Sometimes you can just have all the book sense in the world and no common sense. I got a friend like that. We call her the Book for that very reason. That's her nickname, Book. Who are these two? 16 days till decision day. So all the couples have exercises that they're working on. They're supposed to help them build the trust and the intimacy. It's like a little jar filled with different questions that they pull out. They're supposed to answer it honestly. And so some of the questions is, what would you think if you caught me watching porn? What part of my body do you like to touch the most? So on and so forth. So Mitch is and Mitch and Kristen get this one question that says, well, what's the toughest thing that you've had to overcome, right? So Mitch tells Kristen that after his dad passed away, he moved to San Diego and tried to open up a shop selling sunscreen without the plastic packaging, because you know how he is about the environment. He said, it failed, and it left him depressed and feeling like a failure. And, as always, Kristen kind of was sympathetic toward him. And you know how she does. I hate to find that out. And I didn't know. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. So, y'all, at this point, we're an hour into the episode. And we are just now finally seeing Ben and Morgan. So they're together at the apartment. And they're waiting on Dr. Pia. He's sitting on one end of the couch, and she's sitting on the other. You would think Ben still has the C19 2021-22 out there. So in comes Dr. Pia. Ben, he's apologetic and looking forward to getting some help. And Morgan, as always, is looking like she just does not want to be there. So Morgan, once Dr. P arrives, she starts getting tearful. Her waterworks going. Insert. Ben went to go get some Morgan. Went to go get Morgan some tissue, right? Because like I said, her little waterworks started crying. Baby, why Ben came back with one square off the toilet paper from? I said, Ben, what's she gonna wipe with that? What is she gonna wipe with that? Big. Now I'm exaggerating. It was probably more like 2 squares, but still, what's she gonna do with that big? I digress, y'all. I digress. Oh. Anyway, she goes on to say Ben never has her back. So Dr. Pia asks Ben, is he like that because he's being vindictive, right? He says he's just scared to have conversation with her. I said, finally, we're starting to address that point, because last week when Dr. P was there, it did not get addressed. He mentioned that he can't converse with her, but they didn't delve into why. He just kind of owned that like that was his problem. No, that's a 2-person problem. If you're not feeling comfortable conversing, why aren't you? So Dr. Pia said it sounds like he's intimidated by Morgan, and he is. He says her communication style reminds him of his father. Same type of temperament, and his father was always so hard on him. So Morgan admits that she could have handled things differently, and then she follows with a but. Morgan, there cannot be a but if you are sincerely apologetic. There just cannot be. There cannot be a but, because then you're still justifying your actions. Now Ben, I will say he has been in the wrong, but one thing I think he does well, or at least within this whole experiment of being married at first sight, is he does a lot of self-reflection and self-evaluation. And I think that's good. I think that's healthy. And I think it will prepare him to be more successful in his next relationship. You know what I'm saying? In his future marriage, because this ain't it, baby. This ain't it. But he said that he's been hiding out of that fear, meaning hiding like from talking to her and expressing how he really feels, right? He's been hiding out of that fear, and that it's just something he's used to doing, you know. So Dr. Pia is basically like, is there any hope? Morgan said he doesn't get how much he's hurt her. And not to not validate her feelings, but I think the depths of her hurt come from her past trauma. I really do, because to me, her anger isn't matching the crime, if that makes sense. Like, I've heard that usually you say the punishment. So I guess we could still say the punishment, because I feel like she is using her anger as a form of punishment, because usually you get angry, you work through things, you move forward, but she's holding on to that. And I just don't think it matches what he did. You know what I'm saying? Because again, he's shouldering everything and she's not doing anything. She's not taking accountability for anything. And I just think that a lot of that goes back to her past trauma. So Ben says he's apologized, but he just doesn't know what else he could do. He thinks actions will help, but he doesn't know what. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, well, she has to be around and receptive for that to happen. And she's just not either right now. So she responds, her response was that she hears his words, but she doesn't feel them. And I just hate that for Ben, because like I said, again, I feel like he's shouldering everything. And I feel like his apology is coming out pretty sincere. At least that's how it comes across my television screen to me. That's how it translates for me. And he just should not be shouldering everything, because like I said, it's the two of them. Both of them have things that they need to work on. and need to be apologetic for and try to work through and move forward if they're going to have a real shot at trying to make things work. But enough of them. We moving on. So, y'all, we see Alexis and Justin next, y'all. What in the... I can't even say. No, I was saying, what in the news? Does Lexus have going on with her hair? Yo, I was like, look, baby, that ain't it. And I ain't gonna just say, you know, like my hair be funky. I think it's cute, though. You know what I'm saying? And I just say that Lexus, her braids are cute. She be styling them. But this here, with that whole noose right here, looking like it's ready to hang anybody in a minute. That one in Lex. I wasn't feeling that one. I was not feeling that one. Baby, that just one is. So anyway, she and Justin, they're doing their exercise. And the last question was, what upsets you the most? And he he asked it and she answered it, right? So she says, when you're not you. She says, I question if I even know you sometimes, right? She said that she doesn't feel that support and commitment from him like she did on her honeymoon. And sir, have y'all noticed that when Justin is starting to get upset or in his feelings, he starts picking at his hair like this? Have y'all noticed that? Y'all watch. Take a look at it. I've seen him do it a lot of times. Just keep an eye out for it. So anyway, he says that she just doesn't understand him. That's basically how he feels. 15 days until decision day. So Mitch and Kristen, they're doing their exercise where they explore different sensations and what they like and dislike without being physically intimate. Seems like a positive exercise for them, but nothing exciting to see. Over to Stasha and Nace. They go to this place. I don't know. It looked like maybe a mansion or I want to say a castle. It didn't really look like a castle. I don't know what to call it. I don't know. We just gonna say a place. Now, Stasha said she called it the sex dungeon, and that's pretty much what it looked like. They did go down like they were going to a dungeon, and when they stepped in, it was full of nothing but sex toys, you know. So maybe it was the sex dungeon. I don't know, but anyway. But this is the exercise where she is supposed to relinquish all control to Nate. So he blindfolds her and handcuffs her to the bed, and we just get a glimpse of what's to come. You know what I'm saying? Like, we see a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know what? Why are they always the ones we see get all steamy? Have y'all noticed that? Like, we don't ever see any of the other couples, no matter how far they go, we never see them get like Stasha and Nate get. Like, we almost be seeing them having sex on the screen, basically. And we'll never get that from nobody else with them. Just something to think about. But anyway. So, Alexa has been given an assignment to help her just to get back on the right track. So there's a little stripper pole set up in the middle of their living room. Now, how did they manage to get that in there without Justin knowing it? Because he was in the bedroom and he came out like he was all surprised. And I'm just like, ain't no way you didn't know that was being set up in your living room. So he comes out. She gives him a little dance on it. He's sitting back. He seems to enjoy it or whatever. And then they go sit on the couch. So he says, hey, let's play another game. He acts like he came up with this game about blindfolding themselves and speaking from the heart, truthfully, honestly, without the other person interrupting. And it was just like, Justin, you ain't come up with that game. Either production or one of the experts told y'all to play that game, right? Because we've seen it before. So they blindfold one another and say how they feel. Justin, she's blindfolded first, and Justin says he feels like he's number 2 in her life and that he doesn't think she's ready to be married. He feels that he questions their marriage at this point. He loves her, but he's very cautious. Um, oh, and another thing, she never asked him how he's feeling. That's something else he said. So then they switch. She states a lot of things about herself. That's how she just started off like, well, I feel this. Well, I ain't gonna say I because I statements are good. I don't think she was using I statements. I think she was saying, well, you make me feel this. You make me feel this. You make me feel that. I'm happy. It was nothing like how he was talking about her. Like, he did give her some compliments before he started kind of saying like how he is feeling. She just didn't do that. It was just kind of like all about her when it was supposed to have been about him. If that makes sense. I hope I'm coming across and saying it right. Like, I know how I'm thinking in my head, but I don't know if I'm expressing it that way to you all. But I hope I am. But anyway, yeah. And then she goes on to just talk about his family. Like, I love your family. They're great. Again, not saying anything about him. It's just like, do you have anything good to say about him? You know what I'm saying? It didn't come across as if she did. You know what I'm saying? So he kept asking her, and it was just nice, short and sweet, and that was pretty much it. Once she mentioned about liking his family, that was it. So he kept asking her, well, are you finished? That's all? And she was just like, yeah. So, but in her confessional, she did admit that there was more, but she didn't want to tear him down because he seemed so proud to be able to share his true feelings. Plus, she didn't want to reiterate some of the same things that she has already been saying from day one. Okay. She's done, y'all. She's done. When you don't even try, because even if you have already said these things before, maybe that was a better opportunity for him to listen. Because he was blindfolded. He didn't have everything else to focus on but your words. Maybe that would have been the moment where it would have sunk in for him. Yeah, she's done, y'all. She's done. And I think she felt some type of way about him saying that she was not ready for marriage. Yeah, I think so. So she gets all smart and says that sometimes, now they're back, we're not in her confessional anymore, we're back on the couch with the two of them. So she gets smart. She says that sometimes the best response is no response, and I'm choosing silence. She's doing that. She's going tit for tat. She's doing that because she knows he hates for her to be silent. Like, let's take it back to the couples dinner a couple of episodes ago, and you know how he freaked out when she was like, I don't want to have nothing to say and share with the others. She knows that's going to bother him by her not saying anything. And you can't go tit for tat. It's just like him putting that ring, taking that ring off and putting it on the table when she said that she didn't know she was ready to be married to him. Both of them are being passive aggressive with their actions. And then, y'all, she smiled after she said it. I was just like, you know what? Girl, you petty Betty. You are petty Betty. You be putting on the Lexus. You petty Betty. Got that petticoat. You wearing it, baby. Your petticoat big. Over with Miguel and Lindy. They're still taking care of little McGindy. Apparently, the baby cried every 2 hours the night before. And y'all already know who got up to take care of the baby. Miguel did. So, we catch the apartment cam footage of him getting up in the night, walking around with the baby. I told y'all, he's treating that baby like it's a real deal. Like, he was toting around. He even held it up. He smelled his little booty like he could really smell it. The baby done pooped on himself or something. I said, oh, Miguel gonna be a great father. But y'all, why was Miguel butt ass naked? You know what? I don't even blame you, Miguel. Cause baby, a little naked is ain't hurt nobody. Do you hear me? Cause I ain't gonna lie, that'll be me, y'all. That would have been me. All day, every day. Insert. Cause we over to Chris and them now. Why is her nose always red? Have y'all noticed it? I know I'll keep pointing out like the smallest of details, but it should be like some things just stick out for me. Y'all watch what I tell you. Now y'all gonna be noticing. Y'all gonna be looking at that girl nose and be like, her nose show is red. Looking like little Rudolph. I may call her little Rudolph other than young Blanche. Little Rudolph. Anyway. The wives, they're getting together. They're meeting up, and so are the husbands. So the guys, they out playing basketball, and the wives, they meet on the beach, right? So the men, they're all out there except for Miguel, right? They all out there shooting hoops, and then here he come with the baby in the car seat, and all the guys are like, "What the hell, baby, you got?" You know what I'm saying? So they realize it's a fake baby. So here go Mitch. If it was me, I would have taken the batteries out and chunked it in the closet somewhere. Mitch. Now, Mitch. Why you don't need no children right there. You better put the baby in the corner somewhere. Oh. I was on the other side. So Lindy, she catching the other wives up on the whole baby situation. Lindy says it's in demon mode because he was crying every 2 hours. And although Miguel be a great father, she said they will be using protection. So over with the guys, Ben is telling them he owes Morgan an emotional apology. So they said, what the hell does that mean? I know this right, Nate. Ben doesn't even know. He can't even tell them. So Nate, he says, well, how will she emotionally receive that if she's defensive? Same thing I said earlier. So Morgan is telling the ladies that she gets no emotional response from Ben. And again, I don't think that's entirely true. Like, that's just not what translates across my TV. I feel like he's very emotional. Every time he says he's sorry, to the point where he probably ain't no more. He done said about 50,000 times. You know what I'm saying? But anyway. So Alexis is like, why do you keep expecting something you're not going to get? And Stasha says, well, what's the point? If you get it, you're not going to believe it anyway. Bingo. So Ben shares with the guys that he is intimidated by how strong Morgan is physically and mentally. Miguel tried to encourage him by telling him that he also is strong because he's showing up and facing things. And Ben, he's in this self-deprecation place. Like his response was, but I hid from her. Like, instead of just receiving what Miguel was trying to say, he's still dwelling on the negative versus focusing on the positive aspect of things, or the positive things that, yeah, I did wrong, but what am I doing positive now in this situation? What can I do to move forward? You know, what can I build on my strengths within this situation? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he thinks he has to continue to point out his wrong to make her feel better, or to get across that, hey, I learned my lesson. And that makes me feel sad for him, because I feel like he probably had to do that growing up too with his dad. You know what I'm saying? Because I agree with Miguel. I think he has been strong, a lot stronger than what he thinks. Because I remember even thinking that, I think last episode, that as hard as Morgan's coming at him, the fact that he's sitting there and just taking it and, you know, not being reactive to her anger. You know, I was just like, okay, because I can't say that after a while that I could still be as calm. And I don't know, you know, yeah. So, but anyway, he's just not receptive to that positive feedback. So, Kristen and Mitch, they're both talking about how they have paused the sex. He said he's having trouble thinking long term with her, like if they will continue past this experience. So Kristen says she has put up a wall and that she's ready to take it down. So she's mentioned that he needs a little bit more guidance than she would have thought. Kristen, I feel you on it. Like, I had a relationship like that, and it was very frustrating, like, trying to guide this older person. Like, I felt like if this same relationship had happened in our 20s, that would have been a different type of situation. Like, I don't think I would have been as frustrated, because in your 20s, you're still learning, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things. But I just felt like at the age we were at, baby, you should come to the table with a little bit more. Like, I shouldn't be trying to guide you as an adult. You know what I'm saying? So I get Christian frustration. I get Christian. Anyway, Alexa, she brings up, of course, the whole going out with her friends and how she's not having fun in a relationship as she has had in previous relationships. Now, Alexa, you wrong for comparing. Now, you can't compare one relationship to the other, because if your other relationships were so great, you wouldn't be out here trying to get married at first sight anyway, boo. So, then she goes on to say, she mentioned something about spontaneity. Alexis, now if you're gonna use these words, sister, I need you to use them correctly and say them correctly. There is no such thing as spontaneity. You mean spontaneity. Spontaneity, not spontaneity. Say it with me. Spontaneity. Like, I guess it just tickles me so, because, you know, Alexis be trying to come with all these words and verbiage. Like, she's just, like, she's got a therapist hat on, or, you know, and I ain't trying to say that she's not intelligent, because you can speak intelligently without trying to be like, Dr. You know how she could come across sometimes, like how she responded to Dr. Peel when she was like, I am mentally overwhelmed and blah, blah, blah. Instead of, you know, I'm just tired of this. I don't want to, you know. So if you're going to use it, go on, use it and say it correctly, boo. That's all I got to say about this. So anyway, on the flip side, Justin is telling the guys how he feels like that her going out, that she's living the single life, or like that she's trying to. And Nate says in his confessional that his guts are telling him that Alexis is no longer in it, right? And she isn't, Nate. She isn't. You're right. I have to agree with you. So, y'all know what? In his confessionals, now Nate, he be dropping it. He be speaking some stuff. So he went on to say, she's not in it. Yes, she's the one causing rifts in other people's relationships and marriages. And he's referring to being a Morgan. You know what I'm saying? So Justice said that they hadn't had sex because although he's trying, she's not reciprocating. Like, if he kisses her, she's not kissing him back. And he doesn't know if he wants to continue being married to her. Back in Justin and Lex's apartment later on that night, we catch them in a heated argument on the apartment cam, right? So she's bringing up how it took her to be blindfolded for him to speak his truth, right? I told y'all she feels some kind of way about that. She feels some kind of way about him saying to her that she's not ready for marriage. So they start going back and forth. Of course, they're both yelling, both saying things they shouldn't be saying. So we end up hearing Justin crying. Then we hear a door slam. And the next thing you know is we see their producer on the scene. So she's coming in to talk to Lex, because Lex done barricaded herself in the bathroom. So she comes in to talk to Lex. And Lex said everything has been different since their visit with Dr. P. And she says basically, since she told him that she wasn't ready to be married to him. Right? So the producer calls Justin in. So he's running down his version of what just happened. And he mentions that he feels like he was too direct with her during the blindfold exercise and that she didn't take it well. So in the process of him talking, Alexis walks out. I said, she's just rude at this point. You know what I'm saying? Just rude. Like, come on now, Alexis. Come on now. If you needed like some space in that moment, like at least verbalize it. Just be like, I know you want to process things, or to the little producer lady, I know you want to help mediate what's going on right now, but I need about 5 to 10 minutes before we continue. Don't just walk out on a man when he's talking. Like, that's just rude. That was rude. So justice goes on, right? So the Miss Producer lady, she says she ain't here for this BS. So she ends up saying, what we not finna do is do this he said, she said stuff, right? So she calls Justin in. She goes into the kitchen where Alexis is, right? And she calls Justin in there. And so she had both of them sit down. So Justin tells Alexis that he's not feeling wanted. He feels like she doesn't want to be with him. And she tries to sum it up with them not sleeping together, right? That's the reason he's feeling not wanted. And Justin's like, no, that's not the problem. The problem is that he feels like they're not matching energy. Then it goes back to her going out and how he feels she's acting single. And she feels like she just wants to hang out with her friends. And that was pretty much the end, y'all. We didn't see them get any resolve in that moment from that situation. So I don't know if that's where it's going to pick up with next episode, or it's just going to keep going and it never gets resolved. But we shall see. Of course, we get some previews and it seems like it's going to be some more good stuff coming up. Like we still got their couples trip and, you know. And of course, editing always leaves you thinking something in one situation is going to be different from how it actually plays out. Like how on this episode, when we saw the preview, we saw Dr. Pia telling Ben, you're being vindictive, when that's really not how it came across. She was asking him, was he being vindictive, or, you know. So y'all know how they do with these editing, this cut. But I can't wait to see what else is coming up. Anyway, y'all, I'm about to get out of here. We about an hour in, so not to hold you too long, because you know I want the reviews to be very detailed, just in case you don't watch the show, so that you ain't got to kind of guess and fill in the spaces. But so I hope y'all enjoy. If y'all don't like the long reviews, I don't know. I hope you do anyways. But anyways, that's all I got for y'all. I'm about to run out of breath. Continue to pray for me, just like I'm going to always pray for you all, my YouTube family and friends. And as always, we will watch God continue to change things around us. Good night, y'all. Have a fantabulous day. Bye.